Jared, welcome to the channel. You are the first person brave enough to put their face out there. Jared is one of Stone's Goods clients, and feel very blessed to have you. Would love to hear a little bit about your background, who you are, and anything you're comfortable sharing about your business.
Yeah. So originally came from military background before I got into e-commerce with my family's business. Spent, 15 years there. So yeah, but that's sort of how I walked into the operational role for Mark Cobra. Had no online selling experience before. Bachelor's degree in English. I have an associate's in business admin, so I've taken some of the core classes. And then I got it. We went over branding and some other stuff when I did another associate's in audio production. But it was very, very high level. I'd taken most of that stuff before. But yeah, came into my wife and brother-in-law's business and saw a need for some operational control. And then we just happened to start up Mark Cobra that same year.
Wow, that is really quite cool. So how long has Mark Cobra been in business now?
So Mark Cobra, the brand itself, has been since 2021, but their online e-commerce business has been there since July of 2014 or so. It's been almost 11, 12 years.
Okay, wow. Very cool. Very cool. And so you're kind of the person who does operations for the business, which is fantastic. And so I think we are going to get into the PPC side of things. So what was your biggest challenge you guys were facing before we started working with Stone's Goods? And how did that change after we started working together?
So right before we started working with you, I had taken over PPC myself and had been running it for about a year. I think our mindset had shifted a lot to where we just didn't know what to do anymore in terms of ranking, and just pulling all the levers you can with PPC, where we were switching more towards an incremental sales. We were literally locking in bids on some of our products. This is the most we're willing to pay for a bid. And I don't care if it hurts sales, and I don't care if our overall revenue goes down, which isn't good, but we were just trying to maximize it for profitability, just to keep the Amazon business going at a level that was acceptable to us.
Nice. How did things change once we started working together?
I think we had a more of a defined strategy and a roadmap for how to go forward and how to keep things working, and just a better understanding of Amazon's algorithms for ranking PPC. Because we've been strong at SEO, but putting those two together is not always the easiest thing. And it's a constantly changing landscape, and we're just confined to our little view of it from our company's perspective.
Okay, nice. Well, thanks. I'm glad you feel like we have a defined strategy now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Stone's Goods. We have a strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple, but we had several we employed, but they would just shift with time by product, even seasonality based on what competition market's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Typically especially after the holidays, China freaks out, starts companies that aren't spending on PPC are all of a sudden there inflating CPCs, and how do you deal with that? So we just at times were too reactive because there wasn't a long-term, there wasn't a single SOP we followed. We just did what we knew and had learned over the years, and when that failed, we tried something different. And sometimes we changed strategy too quickly without fully understanding of what went wrong the first time.
Makes sense. And I think, that's really common. You're not alone in that, Amazon is incredibly confusing, and then Amazon seems like they purposely try to confuse their sellers. So, it makes a lot of sense that you would do something, or you would get this information, get confused, and then shift strategy to something that maybe didn't make sense for your business. I mean, I wish that wasn't the case, but it was the founding thesis for Stone's Goods. It's we really understand Amazon and the broader e-commerce ecosystem and how it all fits in together. So that makes a lot of sense. Could you share a specific result when you realized that our service actually made a big difference?
Obviously, I think the first one is the bestseller badge, but I mean, I spent a lot of time in PPC, not just watching other agencies try and do it, but watching us try and do it ourselves before I was the actual one doing it. And so I think coming in, like knowing that you had that clear roadmap of what to do, when to do it, especially like combining it with when to use deals, when to not use deals. We used to run a lot of coupons and
Yeah.
brand tailored promotions that numbers look good when you looked at them within their tiny little Amazon reporting bubble. But overall, what was the end result of doing those? Did I just spend money unnecessarily where I could have made the same sales or not without using those?
Yeah. I mean, that is once again Amazon confusing you to get you to spend money instead of educating you about what actually works on their platform. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised, but yeah, those brand tailored promotions are a lot of people are shocked to hear that we don't use coupons and we don't use brand tailored promotions as part of our core strategy. That's pretty cool. Okay. So in a sentence or two, how would you describe working with us to someone who's kind of considering it? What would you say if you were on like a reference call right now?
I would say, I mean, one, absolutely do it. Because
Thank you.
hands down, but most people, I'm trying to keep it in the two sentences. Most people in the Amazon PP, PPC world, especially if you're a business trying to run your own PPC, don't have the time uh, to one, to do it, two, to learn how to get good at doing it. And so, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's literally a no-brainer to hire you, especially once you see your formula for all of this.
Thanks. Um, I mean, I feel like the formula is simple. You just have to actually do the hard work of setting everything up properly and having the right products. So I think a lot of credit goes to you and the team. Like you are a very operationally sound business that gets things done. So, you're part of why I asked you guys as like the first company is because you're so excellent to work with. You're so fast. You're so responsive. You guys see an opportunity and you seize it. And I think that the results speak volumes. Like you were not the first company to get a bestseller while working with us, but you're the first company to get 2 bestseller badges at the same time while working with us. And that really just speaks to the operational rigor you guys have. So yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words, and I think it wouldn't have been possible without all the hard work that you and the team do. Um, what do you think makes our approach different from what other people do?
Oh man, I could go on probably for days about this.
Go off.
Yeah.
Just go off.
Just one, if I just look at it from the agency aspect, is it's hard hiring an agency already when you don't know the exact answer to do. And most agencies, you come in and it's automatically 90 days before we see results, which 90 days is a lot of money up front. I mean, there was a point in our business where 90 days could have been $600,000 in ad spend or more that month, depending on what time, depending if is it Q4 selling season? Do you guys have a good product already? And a lot of times to keep that velocity, there's a lot of wasted ad spend. And a lot of agencies are wanting you to define the results you want, which I mean, to be a good client, you do have to define results, like expectations. But I mean, we've worked with agencies where it's like, why are you advertising on this keyword? It's not a relevant keyword. You need to turn it off. Come back 2 weeks later, still on. Come back another 2 weeks later, it's still on, and it's blown tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend. Yeah, I mean, that was our probably one of our first experiences. It was a great team. It was a great reporting team
Mm,
that came out of it, but reporting too, actions where it matters. So I think just being able to come in and, like I said, you have this roadmap, which for me is for operations is like perfect because there's nothing better when you find a system that you can sit there and replicate time and time again. I mean, that is what effective operations are.
yeah.
So just getting to have an expert, just getting to have an expert there is really what's set you apart from other agencies. And not that other agencies don't have experts per se, but an expert without a roadmap and a plan that can be replicated over multiple accounts is, I mean, I can hire a VA to play around in my account all day.
Yeah. Okay. Would you mind? How would you describe the roadmap? Because you've kind of alluded to this, and that's the end of my like question. So at this point, I'm asking because I genuinely am curious. How would you describe like what it is that our agency does?
Yeah. So, I mean, outside the initial keyword research, which comes everywhere, and you just learning the products, that's to be pretty typical. There's
Yeah.
a plan that's not even necessarily specific to our business, but you have the ability to look at keywords and the product and the market and understand, do I put this into a ranking bucket or do I put this into an incremental sales bucket? And both are fine. Both strategies are fine. Where it becomes harder is when to employ those. So, I mean, there's products we've launched. And we're like, oh yeah, this is a rankable product, and we go and drop all this money and into it. And because we've always just used the hard and fast, like take full advantage of that 30, 60-day honeymoon period Amazon has. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter what your ACOS or your talkers are on it, you're ranking. And
Hmm.
I mean, there's the risk is mitigated with your roadmap because you have that insight and expertise already to know, hey, this product's not rankable.
Hmm.
I mean, there's going to be a margin of error
Hmm.
anytime because your launch data is data, no matter what third-party tool or thought you're putting behind it.
Hmm.
But there's a lot more of a measured risk. And then just your understanding of the roadmap wise, like from the ranking side, sales velocity, conversion rate, click-through rate translates into rankings moving up. You lower any of those other metrics, rankings go down. So I think really understanding that when you're on a platform like Amazon, where it is 100% ranking based, it's not
Yeah.
worth launching an incremental product on Amazon unless you already have a good D2C or another online marketplace as a backbone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're tying up money in inventory that you could invest somewhere else.
Yeah, I would completely agree. What do you think about our dashboard? Like we built that dashboard for you that you use to keep track of your keyword rankings. Do you think like is that something you guys liked, or is that something where you're just like it's nice to have, but it's more for you, Sean? Like what's your opinion there? Is that thing useful or
Yeah, I absolutely. One, I love building softwares that are um,
yeah, same.
that help
Yeah.
because yeah, it's so easy to do now that
Yeah.
a large part of me is just like, why do I have the subscription to this? I have AI now that can write
Yeah.
sufficient code, and Google Google by itself, their products are sufficient enough to get done what you need done for your business. So I mean, that I think that's something I still check. Like we've had Data Dive uh, for years that we really only use to do like our niche dives for competition research. But I had actually built a system out around on um, with PPC to where I was using their rank radar. Um,
Mm,
Rank radar bulk sheets. So I was pulling ranks every day uh, from rank radar, dumping into my Google Sheets, running the Excel program to adjust bids up or down based on what position I was on that keyword every day. Every day is this process. I was adjusting bids. Yeah, and it was something kind of crazy too, and it worked well for a little bit, but it wasn't like something that was growth oriented. It was just going to be like we're going to maintain the status quo. We're probably lose ranking on a lot of these keywords, and sales velocity is going to slow in some areas. But it was, I think I think the set of rules I'd built around it was like, all right, for position one, we've dropped bids 5 cents. If we're in position two, we raise bids. We're in position three, we raise them 15 cents. We raise bid four and more, we raise them 20 cents. And so I'd kind of just like designed it to make sure that I'm not paying more than I need to for position one, but bid enough or keep testing the bids to find what I needed to be in to get position one. And the obvious
nice.
thing there was like it's not just how much money you throw at Amazon. Like if
Yeah.
it was that simple, it'd be that simple, and that would have worked very effectively and be able to easily be replicated. But what the dashboards kind of changed for us is now I don't pay all this money for keyword tracking. because it's more pertinent to you. Like I need
Yeah.
to know to know directionally where it's going, but I'm not having to make bid adjustments off of ranking data anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that we found was like actually there's a bit of a formula when it comes to ranking. And a lot of the time when it comes to something like data dive, like they get a lot of things right, but I think they get a couple of key things wrong. And, you know, that's why we built our own tool instead of just buying data dive. It's because
Yeah.
there was just, we tried data dive. If we could have just bought data dive, I wouldn't have spent 4 months developing intellectual property.
Yeah.
Because trust me, it's not what I want to do in my business. I want to rank products and help people make money.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's a good software for what it's good at. Like many softwares, they're good at their core product they launch, and then they try to capture more market share by launching more products that aren't as good typically as their core reason they broke into the market.
classic, so
Yeah.
classic. Okay, well, Jared, I really appreciate you doing this. Do you have any parting words for anyone who ends up watching this?
Educate yourself enough about PPC to hire somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, yeah, thanks again for doing this, and for
Yeah,
anyone
my pleasure.
watching. Until next time.